before we continue where we left off, let's hear who we have at the table, players and characters. Han, will you begin?
Hello, I'm Han, playing Winnie, Guardian of the Shared Sky.
Brennan?
Hi, I'm Brennan. I am playing Brother Arcos Gerard, High Priest of Fyria.
Rob?
And I'm Rob, playing Magnus Vale, Master of Day and Night.
And I am Amelia Som, your GM. And all of you have heard, I believe, Julian say a word that you do not recognize.
Run that by me one more time. What was that word?
Mausolea?
I've never heard of that.
I believe the word is mausoleum. There's a section of the monastery that builds them. It's like a fancy grave.
No, it was mausolea. And I heard it, so that's how it sounded.
Can Luft make a roll for it?
Yeah.
Forgot about Luft.
I would say if you got like a 20.
Word. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Askarath, you're an educated person. Anything from you?
No, I don't know that one. I mean, we're in like the biggest library in the world, maybe, so
Yeah, I
we might be able
imagine
to find something there.
Lilith might know something. Maybe we go back to her. But just to remind me where we left off, it was the three of us that went into the void thing, and then Julian who just stepped out of it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Would anyone else like to step into the middle before we move on?
I'm good.
Easily
Don't
the
need
last
any.
time I will ever do that.
Yeah. Don't need any spooky shit. Craig says, yeah, I'm down for the spooky shit. Let's get this over with. And they walk to the center and around the vomit. And as they stand there, you see them kind of just like wait for something to happen. And they sort of get like a distant look as they're staring in middle distance. And just like some tears well up in their eyes. They just sort of stand there for a couple minutes, breathing, focused on something you can't see. And then a little while later, steps off.
And anything of note, primordial and godlike in nature, perhaps?
Nothing primordial, just stories, I guess, about gods.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's whatever at this point. But you wanted to go research?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a library. We got a mysterious word in front of us. I feel like we're in the best place we could be.
Cool. Cool.
And let's go back to Miss Lilith, who I love and stan. Absolutely.
We need more of
I
her.
don't remember what her voice sounds like, but probably didn't do anything. Yeah. You all head back in, I don't know, making a right and two lefts.
Down the stairs, around the corner.
Yeah, to grandmother's house we go.
Yeah, I was about to...
And you guys have probably been out, like, for all of these things, like, probably about 20, 30 minutes. And as you get back, Huron is, like, reading through a book and has a couple others stacked up. And Lilith is back at the reference desk working.
Okay, I'm going to slowly approach her again and just very
Get the
patiently
singular
wait.
finger.
Yeah. I was going to wait for that. Yeah.
This time you wait probably like 5 minutes, and she looks up and says, "How can I help you?"
Well, you pointed us in a great direction. We got something new, and we were wondering if you could help us with something that we've never heard of before.
All right. What is it?
I motioned for Julian to come over.
Yeah, he does. He's probably walking. He's probably up near you, but yeah,
Okay,
he walks
okay.
up.
Mausolea, was it, Julian?
Yeah. She kind of furrows her brow and says, "Like a mausoleum?"
See, that's what Arco said, but he said no.
Arco's like
He said it's a different thing.
Do you have any idea what mausolea could be? Any other, and kind of looking toward Julian, context clues or context at all? He says, "No, just the name. A name. That's not nothing. Give me a moment." And she excuses herself and kind of walks down. If you do follow her, you don't have to. There's nothing plot related happening here, except for she goes to one of those giant drawers full of all the little reference cards. And as she walks, a few jump open and the cards kind of start flying about, some going in front of her face. She stops to read them, others flying past. It takes her about like a fraction of a second to read all of the information on these little cards. And you see books start flying and making their way to the reference desk and to another table next to the one that Huron is at. And they open up and pages are just twirling and flitting like wind as she moves throughout. If someone wants to make a notice check.
I'm good at notice. I'll do a notice check.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm good at notice. I can't pull up my shit.
I think what matters is that you're better than us at notice.
Yeah. D6 plus 2.
Simply roll high.
Yeah.
Just think Luft as a person is
one
not
of those-
trying to notice much besides the pretty books flying.
Fair enough.
Well,
16.
With a 16, as you see these things flying, you cannot read as fast as Lilith, who has some sort of supernatural guidance. But you do kind of catch some of the spines of books and some of the reference cards as she is now moved from being right in front of this like case of drawers back into the library, almost as if she is conducting an orchestra, the movement of all of these books and things that flit past her eyes. You can tell that the things that she is looking at have a very wide range of subject matter, and they mostly seem to be reference books, like kind of like a history anthology, folklore anthologies, lists of important people, famous places, histories and prehistories. And so you can tell that it's a very broad range of subject matter. There's concepts, alchemical concepts, arcane concepts, magical practices, evolution of magic, rune writing, ancient languages, languages translated into other languages, dictionaries, thesauruses, every single piece of reference material throughout here. And you gather pretty quickly that this is a very thorough fact-finding mission, trying to find something that could lead to something that could lead to something. And after about 10 minutes of this physical orchestra, the books come to a slow stop and reshelve themselves, the cards lying back into the drawers. And she says, I think I'll have to check the restricted section.
Oh, I was so hoping you'd say something like that. What a beautiful thing for a librarian to say.
Indeed.
That's
Where
so
is
fun.
your restricted section?
Kind of looks at you, squints a little. That is not your concern.
Oh, it's a secret. Oh, it's so just perfect.
What, do people try and sneak in there often? Is this a security violation?
Not often, no.
But one time.
Oh, yes.
What was that?
Oh, I just heard an old tale about... well, I bet it's in a book somewhere here.
It absolutely
find it
is.
later.
Moving on. Jeez. Arcos is going to be convinced. I don't know if this is accurate for what's happening, but he's going to be convinced that he's talking about the time Magnus got himself banned for life. And he's like, this is not something we really want to be talking about right now. He's kind of like, oh, yes, well, yeah. He's trying to drown it out.
She just kind of looks between the two of you. Right. If you will wait here, it may be a while, but I will return with either information or hopefully something helpful.
Thank you, Lilith.
Is it dangerous where you're going?
Knowledge is always dangerous.
Luft is going to lean over to Arcos and hit him in the ribs, and he says, "Oi, mate, I think I have a crush."
The last thing we need is for more than one of your forms to get banned over here. Let's keep things professional.
Aye, sure. Well,
Wipe
is there
the
anything
stupid
that...
grin off your face. You always look like that.
I can't help but smile. I'm in a good mood.
I think she's
Say-
out of your league.
Luft ignores that. He asks, "So, since you're doing us quite a big favor by going on this wild goose chase, is there anything we could do for you in return?"
No. This is my job.
Wild. Okay, well, I suppose we'll make ourselves at home.
Not too at home.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be perfect guests.
And she turns in the opposite direction of the hallway that you all went down and disappears behind a wall. Not literally, not like a magical wall, just turns a corner, just to clarify.
Psst, psst. Oi, should we follow her?
Don't get me
No,
in trouble, please, Luft.
Oh, come on! You're all heroes, adventurers. You're not gonna sneak after a librarian
So
to
we
break into a
need to
library.
act like upstanding citizens.
I don't understand why that's part of the job description.
Let's leave it up to a vote. Who votes that we absolutely shoot ourselves in the foot with an arrow and end all of our mission and possibly jeopardize the world with foolishness of following this person where they ask not to be followed? All in favor, raise your hand.
She's gonna come back.
Are you speaking literally about shooting yourself in the foot?
I can shoot you in the foot if you'd like me to do that.
Oh, I'll pay you to see that.
All right. I'm just saying, it seems very
He said
foolish
okay.
when it's okay.
He agreed.
Arcos, do you want me to shoot you in the foot?
I don't. It was a metaphor. You've never heard the phrase "shot in the foot"? It's when you do something foolish that's self-destructive.
I have, but I did. You know, I'm the best shot around. I'm just saying.
I would
Though
gain
I will
nothing
follow
from
my own
being
rule, and I will be an upstanding citizen. I will be an upstanding citizen in this library. I will not be shooting anyone in this library. She's just kind of like recollecting herself.
Luke's
just gonna like go up to behind you and be like, "Give in to your desires."
This
Stop
is not
it.
a desire; it's a metaphor.
Shoot the giant in his big toe.
I will not be doing no such thing.
As this conversation has been happening, both Julian and Craig like slipped away to like just go look in the library and look at books and shit and weird magic stuff.
Can I
Slipped off to be alone to go between the stacks in the library. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Is Julian dating Craig? Is this a thing I can roll to find out?
You're
just gonna roll to see what are you looking for?
Chilling in a library.
I think Luft is just trying to just like totally vibe check those two.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a vibe check.
Yeah, what?
Does Luft have a different stat block than Magnus?
No, it's the same.
Oh.
Should we do like a notice? What are we looking for here?
Yeah, we can do a notice.
Notice, okay.
Love is basically magic. Can I detect magic? Oh, I don't have
Yeah,
that.
sure. Detect. You want to write a PowerPoint detect magic? Go for it.
Yeah, okay, maybe not. There's magic in this library. Thank you.
Got a 7.
Okay, you're. I will say it's not like the energy with which they left to go hang out by themselves was not like, oh, let's sneak away. It was more like, I don't want to deal with whatever the fuck is going on in this conversation. But hard to say exactly. Like, they're not like overtly flirting. They're not like touchy-feely, but they do seem close.
But their hands do swing like oddly close together when they're walking side by side.
You're not going to stop me from shipping them is the thing here, is the thing that we all need to keep in mind. I'm going to ship them regardless of whatever you say.
As is your right.
So, I guess we just wait here and cause no trouble. Okay.
I'm shooting a glare to Luft because I don't like the way he said that.
Well, there's just got to be a better way to pass the time.
There are probably millions of books in this library that are not in the restricted section that you could open up and have a good time looking through.
But see, the thing is that I find a story so much better when somebody tells it to you. And
would you like me to read you a bedtime story, Luft?
Perhaps, if that's the story that's in your heart. I want to hear the story of you. Who are you exactly, Winnie?
I mean, how long? How long have you got?
Longer than we need.
I don't think that's a story to dive into in such a public place as this.
I mean, there's hardly a person here besides ourselves. And it's just a story, after all. This is the place for it. And to record it.
Maybe another time. And Winnie's gonna avoid this conversation and go somewhere else. Go look at a book.
Yeah, go look at a book.
You spend a year of your life nearly dying with somebody and you don't know their whole life story. A weird turn of events.
Winnie, go ahead and roll any die you want. Just let me know which die you're rolling.
I like D12s, so I'm gonna roll a D. You know what? No, I lied. I don't think we've rolled a D20 yet in this campaign, so I'm gonna roll a D20.
Okay.
8.
Okay. Yeah. As you you go through the library, you just pick up some random book. It's actually a cookbook.
Perfect. More pancake recipes.
Me next.
Yeah,
me
more
next. Can I do
pancake
it? Can I look
recipes.
for a book?
Yeah, are you looking for anything in particular? Actually, don't tell me. Just roll a die and let me know what die you roll.
I'm gonna go with a D12.
Okay.
7.
Yeah, with a 7, as you walk through the library, you find yourself in underwater atlas. The ocean between Koira and Alria, and it has essentially a map of underground cities that existed in at least the previous epoch, or perhaps before, just entire ruins, just like maps of where they are. And it talks a bit about like navigating ocean currents, how ocean currents change over time, weather patterns, the jet stream winds, or like what the fantasy version of the jet stream is. And all of that about, it is written toward a land dwelling audience about like the history of travel and navigation in ancient sea societies.
That?
Societies.
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 Societies, that's a better one.
I'm gonna sit down with that one and read through it. That'll keep me occupied. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think Luft just sort of looks at you as you take down this book in the atlas and watch you flip through it, and after a few minutes sort of looks bored and looks over your shoulder and just puts his finger on one of the sunken cities and says, "Oh, so that's where that went," and then walks away over to her. And
I'm gonna say this out loud. That will never be less disturbing.
and it will never not be funny.
Is my voice that loud?
You're a giant, mate. Your voice is always loud.
I picture Askerath in the distance, like that, being like, yeah.
Luft is going to approach Hurin and his books and say, "Oh, hello there again, friend. It looks like you've been busy."
Yeah, I am just trying to understand the world.
Ah, that's a noble pursuit. And what have you learned?
A lot about magic, about history. God, it's not been very long. I've just been thumbing through some of these books.
And what do you hope to gain at the end of your pursuit of this knowledge, Hurin?
Clarity, I think. I feel like I've spent quite a bit of my life listening to other people's lies. So I think I want to find the truth, wherever that may be, for me.
That sounds like a noble pursuit. Truth be told, I'm not quite sure I know what you mean, but I have trouble thinking that hard about things like that. A lot of what I know is sort of grass under your feet, nice garden outside the windy, that sort of thing. Keep your world small and things stay simple. But the farther you wander out into the woods, the more tangled the roots get underneath your feet. Or something like that.
Are you okay?
Probably not, is the answer that comes to mind. Although okay is sort of a relative term.
Relatively, then.
Magnus is, he's thinning out. He's not quite as... And he sort of gestures with his hands in the air. The farther you stretch yourself with magic, especially the sort of magic that Magnus uses, it eventually sort of makes you two-dimensional after a while. Until you become more of an imprint on the magical world than you do a real person. That's what happened to the first Luft, or I should say, what happened to me before I hitched a ride. And to the Autumn Stranger, and to a certain extent all the other gods too that used to be mortal men and women. Or at least, sort of, I don't know. It sort of varies. But I'm not as real as some other things, and some other people.
Does Magnus know this is happening to him?
It was sort of always in the cards, but I don't know that he fully gets it. I don't know. I don't know if he knows or not. I would say that he knows intuitively that he's declining. I don't think he fully understands the enormity of the deal he made with Jorgend. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. But he didn't stop me. Curious.
Will he be coming back?
Aye. Yes, I think so. He's never not come back before. But he's still in here, and it's not too late for him, I don't think. There is a deep magic in stories, and there's quite a few now about Magnus. If he doesn't die by more mortal means, I fancy that eventually he'll sort of wither away until he's just a story. So, that path doesn't necessarily have to happen for him, although I don't know if he or anyone else can really stop it. But if you'd like, I think I could return him to you. And maybe he could tell you himself.
If, I don't want to rush him, if that makes sense.
I suspect he'll get a clue and make himself known when he needs to. He's not at all powerless. But there is a sort of logic to this sort of thing, I suppose.
Right. Well, I'll be here when he comes back.
Right. And Luft looks like very dazed. Like he doesn't look well. he normally looks like very like tanned and even colored, but he looks quite pale during this conversation, as if he was like sharing to somebody like a very bad diagnosis that they had received at the hospital.
What does Luft do after this?
I suppose. I think he's going to approach Askarath.
Yeah, Askarath is just kind of also wandered a bit, reading a book.
Hey there.
Hi.
So, why did you come along to the library?
Something about the crypt.
That doesn't
Need our
really...
help.
I see. What, how do you know Arcos?
We used to be really close. We met up when we were young, both working for the church. Took different vows, so we ended up working together a lot. Yeah, just known him since we were early teens, mid-teens. Not quite grown up together, but pretty close.
That sounds
Haven't
lovely.
seen him in a while. It was, till it wasn't.
Oh, little trouble in paradise then.
Well, you met him. He's a handful.
I don't think that I should be casting stones at glass houses. But
no,
yes,
you shouldn't.
Yes, we're both sort of handfuls.
Yeah.
So, if he's such a handful, then why are you sticking around?
Because when we were in that crypt, I was told y'all needed help. And I have a back and forth relationship to destiny. I think that destiny can be whatever you choose. So if someone lays a quest before you, well, I'm the kind of person who's going to take it. If the world's at stake, I'll do what I can to help.
That's sort of romantic. It seems like you're implying that your destiny is intertwined with Arcos.
My destiny's intertwined with all of you.
Well, now who's being risque? My.
Is there a reason you came here to talk to me?
Luft kind of shrugs and says, I like hearing stories. I like connecting with people. I try to learn more about the world before I eventually have to leave it again. And sharing stories brings people together. It's sort of the foundation of the family unit and society as a whole. Sharing stories, trading knowledge, building something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
I bet you have a fair few interesting stories that you'd never had a chance to tell. I look forward in the future, perhaps, hearing one or two by a campfire.
Perhaps.
Okay, I'll let you get back to your book. Sorry to bother you, Askarath.
This one's actually for you.
Oh, you don't say? And he takes it.
And she walks off.
I look down at the book. What is it? What book is it?
Just a collection of poems.
Oh, that was thoughtful.
Yeah. They're about immortality.
Well, now that is quite thoughtful. I think. And he starts, like, really combing through them, like, trying to absorb as much of them as possible. I mean, like, he's enjoying them, but he's, like, very curious to find anything.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you roll for anything. That's just a little Rob puzzle to work on.
Poem about immortality. Okay, I like a little Rob puzzle. Okay, look. Fuck me up.
Yeah. As you all take to your books and your reading, an hour goes by. 2 hours goes by. You're almost at the 3 hour point. when Lilith returns. And you all can make your way back toward the reference desk. There's a pretty loud door that thuds close. You heard it creak open when she left, and now that she's returned, it closes again. And she looks exhausted. I don't know. There is nothing in here. Suspiciously, nothing.
Nothing as though it's never been thought of, or nothing as though it's been erased?
I am inclined to believe the latter. There are passages missing from ancient texts, from carvings. I never really noticed it before, never was looking for it. There is a space left behind by the shape of whatever mausolea was. And not only do I not know, I don't know where to find that information.
So, what you're saying is that it's your best guess that somebody went through the entire library and known records of the House of Anemoros and scrubbed this thing from all memory?
Yes.
That's got to be the best prank of all time. The scale of it. The mastery at which somebody would... But how would you even go about doing that?
But you said there's stuff missing. Would you be able to glean from the context of what's not missing? Like what books are you looking at that has the missing text? Where are you finding these gaps?
I don't remember. I remember, but I don't. I see a part, and I recognize the feeling in my mind's eye. I'm looking at the page where the ink has been scraped or maybe never was there, and I can see the shapes of the letters and paragraphs around it, but I can't recall what they are. As soon as I close the book, I know that I have read it, but I don't remember what it said.
Oh, well, to be fair, that's how I feel about reading every book. You turn the last page and I can damnably remember what I ever read.
This is not a joke. This has never happened.
But so what she's
Not
saying...
in any history that I remember, but then again, if it had happened, apparently something or someone or some effect just wipes it clean.
So what you're saying sort of sounds like, putting all jokes aside, that you were reading all these ancient texts and you'd come across something that may or may not have been related, and then you don't recall reading it, as if it was prevented from lodging in your brain.
Yeah, that's about right.
Do you know of anything that might have magic strong enough to accomplish that sort of thing?
Know any gods? I mean,
Oh, a few,
I am the head librarian of Anemoros. I am the keeper of memory's memory. If I can't find it, I don't know where it is or where it could be.
Could I perchance borrow a quill and a piece of paper?
Yes, sure. And she hands you both. Pulls it out from the desk, rummages for a bit.
Okay.
She's a little, like, shaky.
Luft in a very, like, fine, cursive, elven script writes, I am, and then does his best guess to spell Mausolea.
Yeah, you... how do you spell Mausolea?
And you can't look it up.
Mausolea? Mausolea?
As you write down, I am Mausolea, the words, as soon as you write them, you don't see them anymore. The page looks blank.
Huh. Well, that sort of clears that up then. There is some worldwide cosmic magic that's erasing the concept of Mausolea from very existence. But we know it, and we're not forgetting about it either.
It would seem not.
But we also can't write anything about it down.
So maybe it's just erased from text and not memory? Maybe we need to find a person instead of writings.
Yes, it's like one of the old stories, an oral tradition, passed down by generation, and never written down.
Well, if my assumptions are correct, this word predates the last 2 epochs, at least. It would be difficult to find someone who's been alive that long, on this plane at the very least, let alone willing to talk to you.
But another plane, perhaps?
Perhaps. Well, you have the divine realm of Sar. Granted, everyone who is there is already dead, and it's sort of a one-way ticket. That is an option. If you can find a way back. The likewise, I would recommend against finding someone in core. It would not be worth your while. Growth, I don't imagine anyone there would be willing to talk to you without a steep price, and maybe not before they killed you. Ulfair is perhaps your best bet for people with living memory and willing to communicate in a way that makes sense. I've found Alstis to be far too tumultuous for classical information gathering, which I think would be the most helpful here.
Ulfair I can work with.
Good.
Can I roll a common knowledge ? To know if I would know anyone who has
Please
been
do.
alive that long.
Do it so bad.
Perfect.
3,000-year-old Fae. Where they at though?
Yeah, lol. I'm just looking to see if there's any. Yeah, I guess it would be common knowledge. Which I have a D8 in. So. Ooh boy, I'm spending a penny on that one. Hee hee ha ha. 9.
Okay. You do not know anyone personally.
I figured,
Bessie's,
yeah.
Yeah. You know that there are fae who have lasted through the past several epochs, who tend to exist at very secluded and remote levels of society, certainly who do not interact with you. You would know that Mirovi acts as a sort of keeper of lore and histories, and that she would likely know either one of the ancient fae, from whom each of the seasonal courts is a sort of spiritual descendant. You also would generally know that very, very little is known about the Dusklands and the Court of the Dawn, but they are, in fact, the oldest court. They, however, do not interact with outsiders in any real functional capacity.
Perfect. Time
It's a
to
good
go
thing we're
visit my
famous.
fucking mother-in-law. Amazing. Good to know.
Is she really your mother-in-law?
Yes, Merovi is Winnie's mother-in-law.
Let's go.
Thankiest bitch you ever did meet.
Well, if you have connections in Ulfair, I would say that is where you should start.
Yeah, I think I have an idea of who to talk to, but Lilith, thank you so much for everything that you've done today.
No thanks necessary, like I said. This is my divine charge. I only wish I could be of more assistance.
You've done so much already. And I think we're ready to head out, unless anyone has any more books they want to look at.
I'll replace the one that I was reading about the underwater atlas. And on the way back, we're just turn to Askarath and say,
Perhaps being a guardian of the forest was the wrong calling. The faith militant doesn't seem nearly as interesting now that I think about it. Look at all these books. So much of the world outside of Forlorn, the walls of the monastery.
Are you just now discovering books? We had books at the monastery.
Yes, and I was supposed to read them for class. And I read them. I perused the books.
You peruse them?
I became a medic in the faith militant and smashed things and stitched wounds. What did I need to know about theology?
Aren't you a priest?
There's more to books than theology. Also, you should have been reading books about stitching wounds. Like, I cannot impress that upon you enough.
I suppose I read the basics.
Arcos, the world is so much bigger. And I feel like you've been using your faith as a shield against having to interact with the world around you. And a protection from all the things you'd rather not bother yourself with.
A useful tool.
It's supposed to be a lens.
Mine just has a few shades of paint on it, I suppose.
Well, you should probably work on cleaning that up.
Before everything had happened in the crypt, I most likely would have told you, of course not, and scampered off. As much as a giant can scamper. But I think you might be right.
I am.
At some point, it was easier to be a hero than a person. Or at least seen as one. Thousands of years of tradition and a steadfast reputation as the poster child for your order. They're impeccable. They're strong. People are much weaker. It's not as easy to interact with people as yourself.
Oh. People are all we've got.
Arcos is going to think for like a minute on how to like say thank you for saying that. You know, I think that makes sense. And then just be like, just nod and smile. Like, it's a good point.
And you all head out of the library. Where are you going now?
Wait, can we check out, like, the books that are meaningful to us, or do we have to put them back?
What's to use his library card?
Yeah, you have to open a library card.
Having fun's not hard.
Yeah, Luft is going to make that realization, like, one step out the door and, like, pivot on his heels and say, "Excuse me, Miss Librarian, Miss Lilith, I nearly forgot. I'd like to take this one with me, if you don't mind. Do I need to open an account or place a deposit? Swear on my life that I won't damage it?"
You will need to open a library card. Yes.
Okay, and how can I do that?
She holds her hand out.
And he places his hand in hers.
Yeah, she takes it. And then you see from under the desk, there's this little, like, kind of onyx black bowl. She turns your hand over and slits your palm and squeezes the blood into the bowl as she starts chanting at something in this arcane language, throws some powder and water and things that you're not exactly certain or paying attention to in this moment, and a fire bursts up forward in a fireball, and it explodes right in front of you. You start coughing instinctively at the smoke, and you inhale it in, and you see as you breathe in, the smoke is like all entirely sucked into your lungs and in your body in one swoop.
I was told I have to hold it, or it won't work. Well, gods below, librarian. You know how to turn a man on.
She hands you the book as the wound in your hand seals, and there is a thin silver line across your palm from where it heals. And as she sets it on your palm, she pulls it back up quickly. Do not return this late. And then sets it back in your hand.
And do you mind telling me what the due date is before I get me nads cut off by you?
She looks at you, smirks, and goes back to her books.
Queen.
Restraint, Luft, restraint. We have a mission. We can't stay with the gorgeous librarian. Okay.
Arcus has been making his way over to Luft, like walking back from where he was heading. The minute he overheard, you know how to turn the guy on, picks Luft up by like the scruff of his neck, which I imagine, like, you know, like 9 feet tall. Just pick him up and be like,
"All right, field trip's over, son."
Oh, yes. Carry me, Arcos. You understand.
I'm going to drop him, and then like go to pick him. Why am I using the in character voice? And then like decide, do I drag him out of here or do I pick him up? Because now I don't want to do either one. You know,
Oh wait, no, do I not pick him up?
Alright, what good are you for being so big if you're not gonna carry me? And he starts walking ahead of you.
What, I didn't tell you it takes a few ounces of blood to check out a book?
That would have been great information.
You declined to mention that, but I appreciated the novelty of it being a surprise.
No, I'm glad you had fun.
Aye, but don't think I'll be forgetting about this wee prank, Winnie. You're dealing with a band of merry pranksters in this skull, I'll tell you that.
Alright, give me all you got. I'm not afraid of you.
I'm sure. We'll see how you feel when you wake up with a snake in your knickers.
I'm not afraid of no snake. You think I've never been in the forest before?
What, have you ever
do you
had a
think I
snake in
am?
your pants? Don't answer that.
You know, not a snake particularly, no.
Aye, my brain's too scattered for its own good.
Okay, what time of day is it?
I don't know, afternoon, maybe. Been
Okay,
here for a while. It's probably approaching evening, but the sun's still out, not quite setting yet.
okay, I'm going to kind of gather everyone around outside of the library, but not like trying to be away from the earshot of other people that may or may not be around. All right, so seems like our next objective is to go to Ulfair. So now, by show of hands, how many of you have been to the Twilight Wilds?
Luft raises his hand.
I'm pretty sure Arcos has not.
Julian has been.
kind of
Well,
like very shyly sort of raises his hand.
Just Julian out of the rest of the NPCs?
Yeah.
Okay.
What Curran's gonna fucking raise his hand?
I don't know. I don't know what he's been up to.
Not cool shit. Not like y'all have been.
Okay, so just a few out of a handful. Great. So let's not go now because the Twilight Wilds are a bit of an experience as compared to our dear old Kraith here. We can go over rules to remember before we head in, but I think for tonight, I think we should get rested because it would not be good to be drowsy while we're in there. While you're in a new plane for the first time, I just think that's a good rule of thumb. Be nice and rested and aware and alert. Agree?
Absolutely.
All right.
There is nothing to be afraid of, right?
As long as you stick together with me, there shouldn't be.
I'm going to like lean down toward here and see. Like,
See, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right. Just traveling between the planes.
Now, I would not fault you if any of you, newbies, rookies, whatever, would like to stay. Because I know jumping planes can be a scary concept.
I don't know if I'm quite ready for that.
All right, we can get you accommodated in Rel. Absolutely.
Askrath says, where you all go, I go.
All right. Well, for now, let's just find a place to rest up. I'm sure there's a place to stay, hotel somewhere around here. And then we'll hit the bricks first thing in the morning.
Yeah, you all head out. Winnie, you probably know like the nicer places in the city to stay. I would imagine. Actually,
Yeah.
no, Arcos, you probably when you've been in this city have probably sprung for the bougiest stuff just because of who you are as a person.
I'm an important
Magnus
person.
probably more likely than Luft to know good places. Probably banned from a few of them.
Only the
General
good ones.
shenaniganry and mishaps. But yeah, it is easy enough to find a good place to stay the night. Enough rooms, enough board. Julian does sneak off by himself at some point.
He is not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think, if no one else is doing anything, I like to think all of you are staying in the same room, and you and Julian just have like a Spider-Man pointing, like you both see each other in the hallway.
I won't tell if you won't tell.
Just nods. And then it's awkward because you both have to walk out like down the hallway the same direction, because you're just in the hallway of like a hotel, and then you go downstairs and you go out the front door, because it's not a secret from anyone else here, so it's all you have to actually sneak around. And Julian peels off toward a very nice district in town, one of the wealthier, like in the direction of one of the very wealthy areas. And I would imagine the place you are heading, not like poor, not like slums, but probably just like a middle class kind of area.
And yeah, you can probably guess where I'm going.
Yeah, it's been a while. How long do you think it's been since you've visited?
Since I visited, I've written a lot. I've maybe only visited like once since joining up with Arcos and Magnus. So it's been months for sure, but probably most of a year.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably the better part of a year. And they've moved a couple times in the past few years. Just life circumstances. The initial move into the city, moving within the city. You've only probably been to this location maybe 3 times. The pathway there is seared into your memory. It is not the middle of the night. It is late evening. The sun has set. The streets in this area of town, predominantly residential, are quiet. And you find yourself in front of a beautiful, deep, bluish gray wooden door. There's a light on inside and sounds of conversation through the window.
So when Winnie and her sister, I think, were young, I think they developed a knock between the two of them, so they would know if someone's knocking on their door that it was them. And I think that knock would be the syllables of their name. So Winnie's, for example, would be 2 knocks. So it would be Winnie Hemlock or Rowan Hemlock. And then Ellie's would be Eleanor Hemlock. So Winnie does her secret knock on the front door.
There is a pause. The muffled sound coming through the window quiets. And you hear the response. Before the door creaks open, and a half elven woman, just barely younger than you, looks at you, eyes filled with tears, and she hugs you with an intense ferocity of love. A little pain.
Winnie just reciprocates and hugs her sister very tightly. Hi, Ellie.
I'm so glad you're alive.
Yeah, me too.
As you all, your eyes closed into this hug, that lasts for several moments. As you open and release, you see Tosh, Ellie's spouse, standing in the kitchen of this house. It's attached. It's an open concept, kind of. Smiling very politely.
Hi, Tosh. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Longer than it should have been. I know.
As long as you know. Avi's asleep right now.
Right, I figured. It's late. You know, I would have written to say that I was dropping in, but it was just kind of happening before I knew it, and we're here. So sorry for not giving you a little bit of a heads up, but just kind of, playing as we go.
It's fine. We're used to it. And then, Ellie, do you need a place to stay for the night? Do you want to stay here?
No, that's okay.
Are you sure?
No,
Are you gonna be back in the morning?
No, yeah, I've got, there's a whole group of us now at this point, and they're gonna be expecting me first thing in the morning, so I won't impose on you, of course not. I'm
It's
okay.
not an imposition. Winnie, come on, you've been traveling for so long, and everyone's talking about saving the world and things. You can stay. Have you eaten? Have you eaten dinner?
Winnie puts her hands on Ellie's shoulders. Ellie, I promise. I'm okay. Thank you.
Are you coming back tomorrow?
I am not sure.
You're not sure.
We're
Avi is sleeping and you're not sure.
I want to.
Do you just not want to see him?
No, of course I do. You know I do. We're going to Old Fair first thing in the morning. And
Of course, you're going to Old Fair first thing in the morning.
this is tough for me too, Ellie. Like I know that I should be dropping in more, but it's
Winnie, you should be dropping in at all. Are you kidding me? What do you want me to tell him? You want me to not tell him you came by?
I don't know.
You want me to tell him you had something busy? You want me to tell him you went to the fucking Twilight Wilds or whatever?
I want to see him, Ellie. You know I do, and I don't wish it was this way, but it is, and
It is because you choose for it to be, Winnie.
You know it's more complicated than that, Ellie.
What do you want me to tell him?
I want you to tell him that his mama misses him and wishes she could have seen him and that she'll be back as soon as she can.
And when he asks how soon is soon, should I tell him another year or?
I'll stop by before we leave Rel. I promise.
You promise.
I promise. And that won't be long. I don't know how long our journey is going to take us in Old Fair, but I've got a few rookies coming in with me, so I can't keep them in there long. So, soon. It's not going to be a year. It's not going to be a month. It'll be soon.
Winnie, I love you. But you can't do this forever.
I don't want to do this forever. I didn't even want to do this for this long. But you know that I have an oath to uphold. And
I know.
I plan...
And I know that when this is over, I really believe, Winnie, I believe that you want to be better. But you never put him first.
You don't think I'm not doing this for him?
I think you're doing this
I'm
for
not
you.
doing this so he can grow up in a world that's better than the one we grew up in?
He's gonna grow up in a world without his mom.
He's already growing up in a world without one of his moms, and that's what I'm trying to fix, Ellie.
And right now he has neither.
He's got
right
one.
Now he has me and Tosh. No, he has you once every year, maybe. And right now he's asking when all the other kids are in school, talking about his mom, talking about this, talking about that, wondering why you're not here, wondering if we're supposed to be looking after him. You know, he gives us the Mother's Day presents because you're not here to fucking pick him up.
You shouldn't be caring about what other people think.
I don't care about what other people think. I care about what he thinks.
I'm doing the best I can, Ellie. This is what's best for him right now. If I don't
this
go
is
with
what's
these
easy
people,
for you. What's best for him is being with whatever family he's got. And I'm happy to be there for him. He's one of my favorite things in this world. But he wants you. And he has you. If you would just let him.
You know I want that more than anything.
No. You almost want it more than anything.
What do you think I'm doing this for then? Glory? For
I think you're
revenge?
I don't know why you're doing it. I think you're doing it because you're good at it and you know you can. And I think you're scared. And I'm doing this because I love you. And because that boy deserves to have a family and a childhood where he feels wanted. And I know you want him. But he's just a kid. And he loves talking about his mama going around and saving the world. But I know he wants a mama to tuck him in bed at night.
Winnie just kind of takes that and then averts her gaze from Ellie, starts wiping away some tears. You're right. I know you are. I know that this is not what should be happening, but if I had my way, I would be here with all of you. And if I had my way, my wife would still be alive. But I need to fix this so this doesn't happen to more people in this world. And I'm doing everything I can to make this world better for him, better for us, quickly. And I'm not going to stop doing that. Because it's what I've sworn to do. It is what's right. It is what is my destiny.
Well, once you finish your destiny, maybe you can make an oath to your son.
She just kind of glares at her for that.
I know you're not happy with the way your life is. I'm not either. But this isn't easy for any of us. And I'm telling you, if you keep pushing this off, one day you'll be ready and he won't be.
I know. That's why I need to do this now.
As long as you come back.
Always. I'll always come back.
All right. Didn't really answer the dinner question. Are you hungry?
You know, I could use a bite to eat.
Okay, we'll get in here.
She wipes away more tears.
She like kind of pulls you in a side hug and you guys go inside.
Yeah.
stay there for a while. The tension dissipates a bit. Ellie is not always this confrontational. You can tell things have been building.
Mm-hmm.
And after that conversation, you kind of fall into the cadence of siblings talking about things, talking about your parents growing up, those sorts of things. She lets you know what's happening at work. Tosh shows you some of the stuff that Avi's been working on, little crafts projects. And it's nice. You probably stay there for a few hours longer. Avi is sleeping soundly upstairs.
The shouting didn't wake him up, I guess.
No, it's super soundproof in a big city. There's magical soundproofing, I'm sure, that you can pay for like kids' rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say with that, as the night wanes on, that's where we'll end it.